print, email, Facebook, Twitter. More Hobart flooding cleanup continues with the damage bill running into millions. Media player, space to play, M to mute, left and right to seek, 00:3900:000:395. The cleanup from Hobart's worst storm in decades is underway, with the total damage bill estimated to run into many millions of dollars. The extreme weather event, combining heavy rains, wild winds and thunderstorms, saw cars swept down streets in central Hobart and businesses and homes inundated in the early hours of Friday. The insurance arm of the Royal Automobile Club of Tasmania, RACT Insurance, said it had already received a record number of claims, with 500 lodged by early Saturday afternoon, and more expected over the weekend. The company said in a statement that it expected its claims bill could exceed $2 million. Just over 1,400 homes were still without power early on Saturday morning, with about 645 in the north and east and the rest in the south. Fears of a heavy deluge hitting the state's east coast overnight did not eventuate, although the rain continues to fall in the area, with readings of 63 mm at Grey, 52 mm at Mount Victoria, 41 mm at St Helens, and 41 mm at Fingal. Calls for assistance were for mainly wind-related damage to roofs, downed trees, broken windows and associated water damage. The SCS's Northern Regional Manager Harry Reevy said for the most part, the north and east escaped the worst of the storms overnight. St Mary's, St Helens, and Launceston were probably most affected, she said. There were losses, inconvenience to those that have suffered them, but small losses comparatively. Conditions are easing for the weekend as the system moves across the state's east coast. The Weather Bureau said there was no risk of flash flooding, and a number of minor flood warnings around the state were likely to be withdrawn today. However, the Bureau will continue monitoring for some flooding, with a focus on the North Esk and South Esk rivers. TAS Network's spokesman Dan Sinkovitz said crews would begin work on restoring power on Saturday when it was safe. Overnight we had to reduce our response so that we could give crews a rest, so that they could start work again this morning, he said. Last night, we had in the vicinity of 3,500 customers off. Then at about midnight I got my last contact with the field area, and I think they'd managed to reduce that number to around about 1,800. And then this morning we're picking up again at around 1,800, and we'll be looking to close off as many of those jobs and get as many of those customers on as possible today. TAS Networks was aiming to complete reconnections by the end of the day, but couldn't guarantee that time frame as the causes of all the outages were yet to be confirmed. Mr. Sinkovitz also said there may be outages that have not been reported yet. I did notice on Facebook last night there were messages coming through from customers in Sandy Bay that still didn't have power, and their outages weren't listed on our website, he said. The Weather Bureau's Glenn Perrin said more severe weather was not expected across Tasmania this weekend. Breako Day Council Mayor Mick Tucker said the East Coast hadn't experienced the same severity of damage as the South had. We've still had strong winds Friday night, and we've had some much-needed rainfall, but we haven't had the severe damages and infrastructure damage, he said. The Royal Hobart Hospital reopened 6 beds which were closed yesterday after some weather damage. The hospital's emergency department reported it did not treat any casualties of the deluge, flooding or winds. Buoy plucked to safety. 4 people were rescued from floodwaters on Friday, including a 15-year-old boy who suffered mild hypothermia and had to be winched to safety by the police rescue helicopter. The state emergency service received about 400 calls for help in less than 24 hours. The Insurance Council declared the event catastrophic and has already received more than 1,000 claims. Julia Ridges, who runs Margate restaurant Brookfield Shed, had to shelter upstairs with her family while chest-deep water flowed through the premises downstairs. Her father braved the waters to make sure the electricity was turned off before joining the rest of the family upstairs. Media player, space to play, M to mute, left and right to seek, 00:0001:000:000:0001:000 Council repair bill. The South Hobart rubbish tip is one of the worst hit areas, with the Hobart City Council expecting the damage there alone will be several $1 million. There's a lot of infrastructure that's been destroyed and it will take anywhere from 6, 9, 12 months to restore, Hobart Lord Mayor Ron Christie said. They'll still be operating of course, but it will just be a bit more difficulty to maneuver. Hobart docks thick with debris from storm and flooding. Supplied, David Chalmers. Image 1 of 12. A car which did not make it through flood waters on Lena Valley Road. ABC News, Georgie Burgess. Image 2 of 12. Cars floating in South Hobart. Supplied, Lisa Cawthon. Image 3 of 12. Flooded home in Blackmans Bay, Hobart. Supplied, Sam Eichen. Image 4 of 12. Clean-up underway inside a shop in the Channel Court Shopping Complex in Kingston, May 11, 2018. ABC, Ellen Cole. To Image 5 of 12. Water comes down a hallway in UTS's engineering faculty, Sandy Bay, Hobart. Supplied, Monty Bovell. Image 6 of 12. Sandbags and a police presence in Hobart city centre. ABC News, Edith Bevan. Image 7 of 12. Cars float in floodwaters in Macquarie Street in Hobart. Twitter, Andrew Rathjen. Image 8 of 12. Emergency crews clean up mud and debris from the CBD. News video. Image 9 of 12. The Hobart CBD has been left covered in mud and debris after a storm overnight, May 11, 2018. ABC, Edith Bevan. Image 10 of 12. Staff try to sweep floodwaters out of the old Worcester Hotel in Hobart CBD, May 11, 2018. ABC, Edith Bevan. Image 11 of 12. Cars swept away by flash flooding piled up in Hobart CBD, May 11, 2018. ABC, Edith Bevan. Image 12 of 12. For now we're saying to people the tip will be closed and is going to remain closed until Tuesday at least. It's closed in the interest of public safety. You just cannot drive on parts of the road in the tip area, it's just too dangerous. Alderman Christie said concrete barriers in Hobart's rivulet were critical in limiting damage elsewhere. They were designed to stop fast-floating boulders and debris like logs from coming down the rivulet into the city, he said. They have worked and actually made the situation a lot safer and virtually saved the city. All of Hobart's sporting grounds were closed by the City Council, cancelling all football games. Were the records broken? It is only the 5th time since 1893 that Hobart had recorded more than 100 mm of rain in a day. Mount Wellington recorded 236 mm in the 24 hours to 9 am on Friday. 129 mm of rain fell in Hobart, a record for May. The Weather Bureau's senior climatologist, Blair Truen, said it was not an extreme event by mainland standards, but was very significant for southeast Tasmania. Certainly it is at least a once-in-a-generation, at least if not a once-in-a-lifetime event. Hobart had other similarly sized rainfall events in 1909, 127, June 1954, 147 mm, September 1957, 156 mm, Hobart's wettest day on record April 1960, 132 mm, water ran knee-high in city streets and the army was called to help. Media player, space to play, M to mute, left and right to seek, 00:00:2300:00:23 print email Facebook